Want to eat dust. Dust. Want to eat dust. Alright, working correctly. Let's see.
What brings you here?
Oh wow. Others.
This is terrible, adventurer.
Oh, what's happening here?
Tyrannus is dead. The time for mourning will come, but for now we must focus our efforts. I shall send some of the sentinels to recover Tyrannus's body as soon as possible. You have Tyrannus's journal and the gem he was seeking. Do you think you're capable of completing his task? I would rest much better knowing his death was not in vain.
Sure.
Del Nadris. Hello. You'll have to do the research yourself, but from what notes Tyrannus has
like
made,
that.
it sounds like your next course of action is to find the other pieces of the rod Dartal created. I would start by heading to the Moonwell east of Iris Lake. When you're ready, follow the road and turn north when you reach a small sitting area on your left. A dryad there named Sheldrin is better suited to guide you. Seek her out. Keep the gem with you. Sheldrin will need it if she's to help you recreate the rod.
Hmm. 20 of this? Oh my god, it's a lot. I'm gonna do it. Pretty early level zones. I kind of want to complete all the quests here. I'm probably gonna push to, what is it, 29 or yeah, 29. That should be fine here. Oh, the higher quests. I just wanna clear the zone. Wanna make sure there's nothing interesting here, and then I'll move on, I guess, over here. Out. To make all of this a little bit more immersive. I've been doing some dungeons, I've been doing PvP, and I've been doing a lot of things, and forget to like clear these things. I should go. Click, right click to get a list, left click. I should be able to move it. Why is it? There's like a lot of things that little things that I want them to work in a specific way. They don't work in a specific way, and you can just like, you need to do like a specific key or something, or you have to go through a configuration, and I'm getting really annoyed by it. Like really annoyed by it. How do I move this? I'm gonna have a little bit of a AB 40 to 49. People are already doing AB 40 to 49. I've been trying so hard to like push, and then I started a guild here, and I'm just overwhelmed, and I'm barely even doing anything. It's insane. How chat windows? Where could it be? Chat windows, video options. That's probably an interface. Targeting. I'm not gonna find the furnace. It's gonna have to deal with the loot window of the not very immersive, but it is what it is. Luck. Yes. Then I can move it here. Jesus Christ, it took me a while. Sign me up, Young Ninja. All these guys when they reply to the guild invites, it's just hilarious. Some of them just reply the most random things. Kiwo. Hey guild members. And you hit him with the welcome. I learned how to do macros. I didn't have these macros before, so I would have to type everything. It was driving me insane. But that's the thing now. I'm trying to do quests. I'm trying to level, but now I am, I guess, a guild leader. So I have to like do all these things. I don't know how I feel about it. In one way, it's kind of nice because I'm growing like a community or something. But at the same time, it's like I get so lost in it, and then I find myself just like inviting people, and then people leave randomly. It's just such a mess. But it's nice. We got I found decided to do it. No, we got 31 people. I just joined too. Hello, adventurers. Good to have you guys. Check that it's gone. Official guild in the server. There we go. Jesus Christ. So much work being a guild leader, and I haven't even started. Let's see now. So I moved this, but there's still like something here. Need a quick reload UI. It's still here. Oh my god. Those little things that really bother me. Here, find children at the Moonwell to the northeast. What is this whole thing? Release placing. Is it this one? You have to do research yourself, what no stone is made. It's like your next course of action is to find the other pieces of the road that Darkle created. Most of headed to the Moonwell East of Iris Lake. When you're ready, follow the road and turn north when you reach a small sitting area on your left. Pattern is very suited to guide you. See, why am I doing all of this? I forget about it. This guy says accidentally key binded escape. Now he kind of like exit things. That sounds so messy.
Is there trouble?
Would you tidings were better? Renee is correct. I know about Dartle's creation and the trends in the area. At least I did once. They become corrupted, their nature twisted. Oh, next piece of the rod. Oh, I think this is the one where you get the furball sort of disguise or something. I remember they were all doing that in raids. Yeah, sure. Here to the north, go to the Ashenvale and study the tomb of Meltandris, the returned sentinel. Let me study the tomb. I think I have it. Tomb of Valor, Tron's journal. We can actually read it. Interesting. Quest. Help Ashenvale. There's a mystery to some of the events that occurred not too long ago. Hopefully I will be able to unravel some of it in order to help my people. The wizard Dartle's efforts. It's a wizard. Were these things always here? Or are these things from Dragonflight? Or was it Dragonflight? I don't even remember. Once I thought it's preposterous that a human would come to our lands and learn our ways. This wizard, this evil man, came here not only survive, but also gain some of our knowledge. I'm still uncertain how. Befriend and control the Furbolg. Okay. Safe threat for all tribes of Ashenvale. This shows the Furbolgs, it seems. Interesting. Such a bond between our people. More looks now. Oh, this sounds like a really long quest. I'm not sure if I really want to do it. Research tells me that the Guardians kept the piece in a small glade locked within a chest. Found more. I have to speak to Sheldrin. I just talked to her. Find the paths on the road. It doesn't seem like a very interesting quest. It's just about this major something like that that try to control the four bullocks or something, and now you have to get the rod and whatnot. This is pretty epic in a sense where you have to like kind of go all over the place. Okay, that thing is floating over there, but at the same time, it's like, that's this is well. It seems like such a like the thing that I'm really liking about Ashenvale is just like the scenes, the scenery, this whole concept of the moon wall and the magic of the forest, like all over, like this amazing big forest. That's what I find super cool about it. But the quests are Oh, I see what happened here. And it just went all over the place. I didn't want to do it, but it kind of did. Oh, I'm growing steady. Load and spam. Oh, look at this. I can actually do this whole thing. I never want to do that. Never ever want to do that. Why is this thing like... It truly bothers me so much. Let's fix it another day. Do you want a promotion? You just join the guild. He cannot do promotions. What are you talking about? Right now. Look out for a second here. Actually, I think I can just check it to add-ons, only power. yeah, the Tome of Meltandris, that's what I wanted to see. Powers below, the Runner's Journal. I don't think I have a Tome of Meltandris. Hmm. Shafts, because I just need to kill them, it seems. I'm gonna keep going this way, try to get whatever, go to Ashenvale, so that maybe the tome is right there, so probably it's gonna be like a cave or something. I'm gonna have to like figure it out. These things. Level 28, so it should be fine. %17% chance of dropping. I think it's a good chance. It's not too bad. Whoa, what was that? Let me go see if I can study the Tome of Meltandris first, and then I'll come back and kill these things. Just wanna... I think that sounds interesting. Tome of Meltandris might be something. The Howling Bale, let's see the whole thing. We have put many resources and much effort to ban the remaining demons from the Fellwood. To the north, we have been able to keep much of the demonic presence from Ashenvale. The ruined shrine of Meltandris has been overtaken by mysterious wolfmen. Their chilling calls have led the area. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. Meltandris, the shrine may shed some light on where these wolfmen have come. Interesting. It's right here. Here. Oh, I see. So you have to kill those things and then you can open it. It's pretty cool actually. I've never done this quest. It seems to be like pretty sort of epic. Now I thought I was gonna be able to kinda just go through here. How the hell do I get over there? Let's see, there's like a passageway or so. Let's see if this guy drops it. I'm gonna get the wooden key from these dudes. Meanwhile, isn't some lore that I wanted to check out.
Hey folks, what's going on? Today I am going to tell you about the story behind the Night Elves. It's kind of a lot of lore fit into one tiny video, but I did my best. I got the idea for it because after I made my last video titled Story Behind the Blood Elves, someone on Reddit had asked me, if Night Elves were immortal, how do they evolve? And I gave this person a quick answer and said when they dipped into the Well of Eternity, it sped up their evolution at an absurd rate. More or less magically transformed them to bred an entirely new race. So I figured I'd just make a quick video about the entire history of the race so I can talk more in depth about the evolution and everything else that had happened. So let's get rolling.
For 10,000 years, the immortal Night Elves cultivated a
Oh, I think that's a starter cinematic with Night Elves. Let's skip that. Oh my god. It's so true. I think got issues to die. I've watched a cinematic before.
This lake full of mysterious energies, which would eventually be called the Well of Eternity. A tribe of humanoids eventually would make their way to this enchanted lake. These feral humanoids, who were dark trolls, built settlements along its shores. Eventually the well caused this tribe to change, and it made them wiser, stronger, and immortal. They became known as the Kaldurai, which in their native language means children of the stars. The Kaldurai, who would eventually be known as Night Elves, worshipped the moon goddess known as Elune. The early Night Elf priests and seers studied the well. Their society began to grow, and they began to explore Kalimdor. The only creatures that put them to a halt were ancient dragons. The Night Elves thought that the dragons were the world's guardians, and basically that they and their secrets should be left alone. Eventually the Night Elves went to meet a lot of powerful entities, like Cenarius. He was a demigod of the forest lands. Cenarius began to like the Night Elves, and he started to teach them about the natural world. The Night Elves developed empathy for the forests of Kalimdor after studying druidism with Cenarius. As the years went by, the Night Elf society kept expanding and just growing larger. Ajara, which was the name of the Night Elf's queen, built a palace along the well shore. And her servants, who she called the Quel'Dorei, or Highborn, doted on her commands, and they believed that they were greater than the rest of the elves. These Highborn were secretly hated by the masses. Ajara was also curious about the Well of Eternity, and ordered the most educated Highborn to search its secrets and hopefully reveal its purpose. The Highborn began to study the well endlessly, and they eventually were able to control the well's cosmic energies. Eventually the Highborn found they could create or destroy things whenever they wanted. They agreed magic was dangerous if used irresponsibly, but Ajara and the Highborn started practicing spellcraft recklessly anyways. Cenarius and many of the Night Elf scholars warned that something very bad would end up happening, but Ajara and her followers kept experimenting anyways. As they grew more powerful, Ajara and the Highborn became more and more cruel towards the Night Elves. She started to fall back away from her subjects, and eventually she just decided not to interact with anyone except for her trusted Highborn priests, and she mainly just stayed in her chambers. There was a young scholar named Malfurion Stormrage who spent a lot of time studying the well and its effects. He began to worry that a terrible power was corrupting the Highborn and their queen, and he knew something bad was about to happen. The Highborn continued to recklessly use the magic, and it sent ripples of energy spiraling out from the Well of Eternity and into the Great Dark Beyond. These ripples went out into the twisting nether and were noticed by alien minds. Sargeras, the great enemy of all life, the Ravager of Worlds, felt the ripples and was drawn to where they came from. He saw Azeroth and sensed the energies of the Well of Eternity and was consumed by a hunger for it. He wanted to destroy the world and claim the energies for himself. Sargeras got his demonic army together that was known as the Burning Legion, and he came to Azeroth. Sargeras' lieutenants, Archimonde the Defiler and Manaroth the Destructor, prepared their minions to strike. Queen Shara fell to Sargeras' endless power, and she allowed him entrance into her world. The Highborn servants did the same thing and began to worship Sargeras. The Highborn aided the Queen in opening a portal within the depths of the well to show their allegiance with the Legion. And then Sargeras began his invasion on Azeroth. The Burning Legion stormed into the world through the well and launched attacks on the Night Elf cities. Led by Archimonde and Manaroth, the Legion swarmed all over Kalimdor, leaving only ash behind. The demon warlocks called down searing infernals that crashed into the spires of Kalimdor's temples. The Doomguard, which was a faction within the Burning Legion, marched across Kalimdor's land and they slaughtered everyone in their path. They also let loose packs of wild demonic fellhounds that completely destroyed the countryside.
Thanks, bro.
The Kaldorei did all they could, but they kept getting forced to give up more and more ground to the Legion. Young scholar Malfurion Stormrage had to try to find help for his people. Stormrage, whose own brother Illidan practiced the Highborn's magic, was incensed by the growing corruption amongst the upper class. Trying to convince Illidan to leave behind his dangerous obsession, Furion set out to find Cenarius to create a resistance force. The young priestess, Tyrande, agreed to help these brothers for a loan. Furion and Illidan were both in love with the priestess, but Tyrande loved Malfurion. Illidan resented his brother for that, but his heartache was nothing compared to the pain caused by his magical addiction. Illidan grew very dependent on the magic's energies. He struggled to keep calm under the overwhelming hunger to tap into the well's energies again. He was able to contain himself and help his brother find the demigod Cenarius. And Cenarius, who roamed around Mount Hyjal, agreed to help the Night Elves by searching for the ancient dragons and asking for their help. The dragons, who were led by Alexstrasza, agreed to help fight off these demons. Cenarius rallied an army of ancient treemen and led them against the Legion. As the Night Elves' allies converged on the Well of Eternity, complete warfare was happening. Malfurion and his allies realized that the Legion still could not be defeated by this amount of strength. The huge battle raged on around Ajara's capital city, and the delusional queen waited for Sargeras' arrival. The Lord of the Legion was about to pass through the Well of Eternity and enter their world. His shadow grew bigger as he came closer to the well's surface, and Ajara gathered the most powerful of the Highborn to link their magic together, because that was the only way they could make the gateway open big enough for Sargeras to enter. Malfurion, who was now convinced that the well was the demon's link to Azeroth, insisted that it should be destroyed. His allies, knowing that it was the only source of their immortality and powers, were kind of shocked by this and thought it was rash. But Tyrande agreed.
I'm gonna have to come back to this one. I have no way I'm gonna do it
and their new dragon
solo.
allies to storm Ajara's temple and find a way to shut the well down once and for all. Illidan knew that the destruction of the well would prevent him from wielding magic again, so he abandoned the group and went to warn the Highborn of Malfurion's plan. Because of the madness that his addiction brought on, along with the resentment of Tyrande and his brother's relationship, Illidan didn't even feel bad for it and felt no remorse for betraying his brother. Illidan made it his one and only goal to protect the well's power by any means necessary. Malfurion was left heartbroken by his brother's departure, and he led his comrades into Ajara's temple. They stormed into the main audience chamber and they found the Highborn in the middle of their spell. It created an unstable vortex of power within the well's depths. Sargeras' shadow came closer and closer to the surface, and then Malfurion and his allies began to attack. Unfortunately, Ajara had already received Illidan's warning and was prepared for this attack. Almost all of Malfurion's followers fell before the Queen's powers. Tyrande, who was attempting to attack Ajara from behind, was caught off guard by the Highborn guardsmen. Tyrande was able to kill the guardsmen, though she suffered some grievous injuries. After Malfurion saw his love fall, he went into a murderous rage. The battle went on both inside and outside the temple, and Illidan appeared from the shadows near the shores of the well. Illidan filled a bunch of vials with the well's waters because he was convinced that the demons would destroy the Night Elf civilization, and he wanted to be sure to keep enough of the energies for himself. The battle between Malfurion and Ajara put the Highborn spellwork into chaos. The vortex grew more unstable within the well's depths and finally exploded, and was the start of a chain of events that would sunder the world forever. The huge explosion completely rocked the temple to its foundations and sent huge quakes that ripped through the entire world of Azeroth. The battle between the Legion and the Night Elves allies raged around and above the now ruined capital city. The Well of Eternity buckled in upon itself and completely collapsed. The explosion from the well rattled the world, and the seas rushed in and filled the hole left in the planet. About 80% of Kalimdor's landmass was completely torn apart, which left only a few separate continents surrounding the sea. In the middle of the new sea, there was a huge storm of chaotic energies where the Well of Eternity used to be, and this is known as the Maelstrom. The minimal amount of Night Elf survivors grouped together and made some rafts, and they headed to the only land in sight. Malfurion, Tyrande, and Cenarius had survived the Great Sundering. They agreed they would lead the survivors and create a new home. Sargeras and his burning legion were torn out of the world when the well was destroyed, and Malfurion, along with his allies, were left to rebuild. Ajara and the Highborn, for the most part, were smashed underneath the sea. However, there were some survivors among them who made their way to this land, and of course Malfurion didn't trust them, but he knew they couldn't cause any serious harm without the power of the Well of Eternity at their disposal. The Night Elves found that the holy mountain Hyjal survived the explosion. Malfurion and the Night Elves climbed to the summit, and they found a small lake between the huge peaks. They discovered that the lake's waters were tainted by magic. Illidan, who had also survived the Sundering, reached this summit a while before Malfurion and the Night Elves did. He poured his vials full of water that he stole from the Well of Eternity into the mountain lake. The well's energies ignited instantly, and it became an entirely new Well of Eternity. Illidan believed that the new well was a gift to the future generations of elves, and was shocked when Malfurion began to hunt him down. Malfurion tried to explain to his brother that magic was inherently chaotic and would only cause corruption, but Illidan refused to give up his magical powers because he was so addicted to it. Malfurion decided that he had no choice but to deal with his brother, who was driven mad by the well's energy once and for all. With the aid of Cenarius, he sealed Illidan in an underground chamber, with the intention to have him remain chained and powerless until the end of time. The Night Elves were concerned that destroying the new well could bring another Sundering, so they decided they really had no other choice but to leave it there. Malfurion did say they were never to practice the arts of magic again. Under Cenarius, they started to study the ancient arts of Druidism so they could one day learn how to heal the now ravaged world and hopefully regrow their forests. For years, the Night Elves worked on rebuilding what was left of their homeland. They left their broken temples and roads to be overgrown and constructed new homes in between the trees and hills at Hyjal's base.
Actually, a
And
pretty
in
cool
time,
story.
the dragons that had survived the
Kind of
Great
deeper than I
Sundering
thought.
came forth. Alexstrasza the Red, Ysera the Green, and Nozdormu the Bronze landed upon the Druids' land and observed what they had created. Malfurion, who at this time had become an archdruid with immense power, greeted the dragons and told them about the new Well of Eternity. The dragons were alarmed to hear the news, to say the very least, and were worried that because the well remains, the Legion might return to assault the world once again. Malfurion and the three dragons made an agreement to keep the well safe so that the Burning Legion wouldn't find a way back into their world. Alexstrasza placed a single enchanted acorn in the heart of the well. The acorn activated the magical waters, and a giant tree sprang to life. The tree's life-giving energies would extend to heal the rest of the world over time. The Night Elves named their world tree Nordrassel, which in their native language means crown of the heavens. Nozdormu placed an enchantment on the world tree that ensured as long as this giant tree remained that the Night Elves would never age or die to any sickness or disease. Ysera placed another enchantment on the world tree and linked it to her own realm, which
They
was
are
a dimension
immortal.
known as the Emerald Dream. The Emerald Dream is a large spirit world that exists outside the regulations of the physical world. From the dream, Ysera was able to regulate the evolutionary path of Azeroth itself. The Night Elf Druids, including Malfurion, were now bound to the Emerald Dream through the tree. The Druids agreed they would sleep for centuries at a time so their spirits could explore the paths of Ysera's dreamways.
That's
After all
very
this,
interesting.
centuries went on, and the Night Elf Society expanded yet again throughout the forest that became known as Ashenvale. A lot of the creatures that were plentiful before the Great Sundering started to re-inhabit the land, and the Night Elves were able to enjoy this era of peace. Many of the Highborn grew restless and angry. Like Illidan, they went through the withdrawal that came from the loss of their magic and became just as addicted. They attempted to tap the energies of the Well of Eternity and practice magic again. Dathramar, who was the leader of the Highborn, began to mock the Druids and would call them cowards for refusing to use the magic that he believed was their right to wield. Malfurion and the Druids warned the Highborn that if they used magic, it was punishable by death. Dathramar and his followers unleashed a horrible magical storm on Ashenvale to convince the Druids to abolish their law. The Druids didn't want to slaughter so many of their kin since they were all behind it, so instead they decided to exile the Highborn from their lands. Dathramar and his followers boarded a number of ships and they set sail. None of them knew what was beyond the waters of the Maelstrom, but they were still excited to establish a new homeland where they could practice magic freely. The Highborn, or Keldurai, as Azara named them before, eventually landed in the land that would later be called Lordaeron, and they planned to build their own kingdom called Kel'Thalas and reject the moon worshipped and nocturnal activity used by the Night Elves. From thereafter, the Highborn were only known as the High Elves. The Night Elves returned all of their attention back to safekeeping their enchanted land. The Druids' time of hibernation was nearing, so they prepared to sleep and leave their friends and families behind for centuries. Sharonda, who is now the first priestess of Elune, asked her love Malfurion to not leave for Ysera's Emerald Dream. However, Malfurion was honor-bound to enter the changing Dreamways. He said his goodbyes and told her that they would never be apart as long as they held true to their love. Sharonda, now left alone to protect Kalimdor from the dangers of this new world, began to create a fighting force among her Night Elf sisters. These highly trained warrior women who pledged themselves to defending Kalimdor became known as the Sentinels. The demigod Cenarius stayed near in Mount Hyjal. His sons, who were known as the Keepers of the Grove, kept a close eye on the Night Elves' land and often aided the Sentinels to keep peace. Even Cenarius' shy daughters, the Dryads, made an appearance from time to time. Sharonda grew lonely without Malfurion by her side, and as the centuries passed while the Druids slept, her fear of another demonic invasion grew much more plausible. She felt the Burning Legion was still out there, plotting their revenge. And that is the basic story behind the Night Elves. Of course, the Burning Legion did come back, as we know from the 2 expansions Blizzard made centered around that concept. Thanks for watching, and feedback is always welcome.
So much lore there. It's actually deeper than I thought.
During the recent events in Warcraft lore, the Night Elves just can't stop. Told you they've been on this downtrend for thousands.
I don't like that video. I kind of like the way he explained it 8 years ago. Imagine how old is Warcraft lore.
It's kind of a lot of lore.
I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna be his 400th subscriber.
I got the idea for it because
God.
after I made
Now
my
let's
last
listen to
video,
this
it
one.
was
Immersing
super
Pool of the Night Elves. Alright.
During the recent events in Warcraft lore, the Night Elves just can't stop losing. But what if I told you they've been on this downtrend for thousands of years and have fallen tremendously from the powerful empire they once were? Our story begins 15,000 years ago on Azeroth, where a tribe of dark trolls discovered the Well of Eternity. The well was formed from an ancient titanic event on Azeroth and left a limitless font of arcane power that surged with energy. This energy transformed the life around it, including the dark trolls. They evolved to have similar characteristics to the Titans and would adopt a new name, Kal'Dorai, meaning children of the stars. They learned to worship the moon goddess of life, Elune. Now the details of who Elune actually is still shrouded in mystery, which is pretty rare now in the Warcraft universe. We do know a lot about Elune's sister goddess, but really, that's it. And speaking of Elune, her son, Cenarius, taught the Night Elves the affinity for druidic magic. The demigod would be instrumental in the upbringing of the Kaldorei, and through his teachings, druidism and the protection of nature would be a core part of their society. The other side of Kaldorei's society developed an affinity for the arcane. They used the powers of the will to build wondrous temples and expand their ever-growing empire. At the helm of this expansion was their exemplary ruler, Queen Azshara.
It's Brittany, bitch.
Oh my god.
Queen Azshara was born with glowing golden eyes, a sign of her future greatness, which was more
This
than
guy.
true. She was beautiful, strategic, strong-willed, and ruthless. Now in Night Elf society, there was a clear separation between the arcane magic noble users called Highborn and your typical Kaldorei. But that didn't stop everyone in the Empire unanimously praising their new queen. They loved her so much, they renamed the capital city to Zinashari, meaning glory to Azshara. And the only real enemy that threatened the Kaldorei Empire was the trolls, and they were easily crushed because when you have a font of
Jesus.
unlimited power and soldiers that live for 10,000 years, it makes fighting pretty easy. Azshara kind of just let the trolls live in the mountains of Zoldazar and told them to never expand into Kaldorei lands, and practically the entire continent was now under Kaldorei rule. But Azshara wanted more. The Queen of the Kaldorei made a pact with who she would later discover was Sargeras, the leader of the Burning Legion. Azshara wanted nothing more than to wipe out all of the lesser races on Azeroth, making every inch of the planet under Kaldorei rule. And the Well of Eternity was used as a portal to summon a horde of demons, kicking off the War of the Ancients. And okay, I've talked about this war probably like 13 times on this channel because it's probably the most important event to ever happen on Azeroth, and is also the point where the power of the Night Elves starts to fall off of a cliff. Okay, so the war ends with all of the demons being banished from Azeroth, but also the Well of Eternity explodes, boom, and the entire planet is fractured, and like 90% of the Kaldorei Empire is destroyed. After the destruction of the planet, at the brink of death, Azshara and her loyal subjects got turned into fish people by the old god N'Zoth. So they technically aren't Night Elves anymore, but they live in Night Elf ruins underwater. More on them later. When the dust settled, the remaining Kaldorei attempted to pick up the pieces of their now fractured empire. Illidan Stormrage, being the dumbass that he is, had vials of water from the Well of Eternity and used it to make a new well. Which, what the hell? What are you trying to do? Blow up the world again? He was in prison for 10,000 years after that. And the dragon aspects helped build a new world tree over the well, which accomplished a multitude of things. The world tree of Nordrassil would regulate the power of the new well and mask its power from evildoers trying to seek it out. It would also use the energies of the well to heal the world, and most importantly, it would make the Kaldorei immortal, so they would not die of old age or disease. This was a new age for the Kaldorei, and the leader that rose to power was High Priestess Tyrande Whisperwind and Malfurion Stormrage. Well, it was Malfurion when he wasn't sleeping, hanging out in the spirit realm of the Emerald Dream with
This
other
guy.
druids doing
I don't imagine
druid
this video.
stuff. I don't know, it's kind of vague. Point is, it was mainly Tyrande who had to deal with the aftermath of the Sundering. After this event, Night Elf society pivoted to be heavily focused on a druidic lifestyle, and the use of arcane magic was forbidden, punishable by death. This was controversial to say the least, and the remaining Highborn, who had an affinity for the arcane, thought the banning of magic was for cowards. Dathramar Sunstrider, their leader, explained that the Highborn had been using arcane magic for thousands of years before Azshara even ever became the ruler, and it was impossible to deny the great power of the arcane. They were going to continue using it no matter what. It was their birthright, and they weren't going to let any lowborn, tree-hugging hippies tell them that they can't use it. The Highborn were then exiled / willingly left Kaldrai society to start their own empire in the Eastern Kingdoms, and would later become the High Elves, and then the Blood Elves we know today. The next big event in Kaldrai history was the War of the Satyr. Satyrs were once Night Elves, twisted by demonic corruption, and they combined their efforts in a unified force to attack the Night Elves. In order to combat these demons, some druids tapped into an ancient druid form, forbidden to use because of how dangerous it was. These druids were called the Druid of the Pack, and in their wolf form, they were unstoppable killing machines, but in their frenzy, they could not discern friend from foe. Instead of killing these crazed druids, they banished them to the Emerald Dream, and 10,000 years later, they would re-emerge and become the Worgen we know today. And let me just say, it's hilarious. The Night Elves are like, arcane magic? Yeah, no, that stuff is dangerous, and it's corruptive, not good. Let's ban it all, and then use druid magic instead. And then right after, they tap into corruptive druid magic, and they start murdering each other. Yep, Night Elves are very logical. The next war is the War of the Shifting Sands. The old god Cthulhu and his insectoid creatures, called the Karaji, stirred awaken Silithus, and the Night Elf forces traveled down to snuff them out. And then they got the ever-loving crap beaten out of them, and they were forced to retreat. And in fact, they needed help from the dragons to bail them out and imprison the old god threat once again. Perhaps the war would have gone better if they didn't, hemorrhage themselves and they actually used arcane magic, maybe? I don't know, just an idea. Between the War of the Shifting Sands and the events of Warcraft 3, there really is no substantial history about the Night Elves. They have just been living in seclusion in the northern reaches of Kalimdor. And I've ragged on them a lot in this video, but the depiction of Night Elves around the time of Warcraft 3 is by far some of my favorite world building done in the Warcraft universe, and they're incredibly cool. To outsiders, the Kaldrai have become this elusive, powerful force deep in the enchanted woods of northern Kalimdor. 7-foot-tall Amazonian sentinels stalk trespassers in their lands. From within the dark brush of the forest, their glowing eyes hunt their prey, shimmering with bright white light reminiscent of the goddess they worship. Their tactics are flawless, having honed their skills for tens of thousands of years. When Gromhellscream tried and failed to claim Ashenvale, he is quoted saying, "These women fight with unmatched savagery. I've never seen their equal. They are perfect warriors." And that is Gromhellscream, the war guy. Hulking druids the size of refrigerators can feel your very presence. Trespassing into the forests they have formed a deep spiritual bond with. They transform into savage beasts that can rip through a group of soldiers in a single swipe. The Kaldrai are not nice. They're intolerant, savage, spiteful warriors of nature that hold dominion over the forests of Kalimdor. And it's badass. During the Third War, the Night Elves fought against demons, Scourge, Horde, and Alliance. Pretty much everyone that wasn't a Night Elf, and they suffered, kind of heavy losses, partly because of their stubborn nature. Their demigod Cenarius was slain by Fel Orcs, and the Kaldrai would not team up to defeat the demonic threat until the very last battle for Mount Hyjal, where Malfurion sounded a horn to rip Archimonde apart with 1,000 wisps and blow up the World Tree of Nordrassil to defeat him, ending the Kaldrai's immortality in the process. Between the time of Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft, the Kaldrai grew a new World Tree of Teldrassil and built their new capital of Darnassus. And the Night Elves turned from these stoic, elusive, savage protectors of nature, and now they're... Okay, Night Elves in WoW aren't necessarily bad, but they have definitely lost the edge that made them a step above the rest. Instead of being these aggressive tree huggers, now they've kind of just turned into tree huggers. This is partially because gameplay triumphs over lore constantly in Warcraft's story, and the Night Elves join the Alliance. Yeah, you know, the faction that is on the other side of the planet, and now they take orders from a king who has lived a small
It totally
fraction
makes
of
sense
their
for the
lives
Night Elves to be in the
and has an even
Alliance.
smaller
That doesn't make any
fraction
sense.
of combat experience. Throughout Classic WoW, the Night Elves are dealing with the corruption of Teldrassil, yeah, it's corrupted, and the Horde's logging expedition to Ashenvale. And for the next 2 expansions, Night Elves exist, but their story and their place in the world really doesn't change. During the Cataclysm, the world has been broken by a cataclysm, and the Night Elves suffer considerable damage because of this. During these troubling times, we actually get a shakeup in Kaldorai's society. Morden Evershade, leader of the few remaining Highborn left on Azeroth, apologized for all the blowing up the world stuff, and the very few remaining Highborn were reintegrated into society. But the amount of Highborn that actually exists is very, very small, and really is just an excuse for Night Elf mages to now be a playable race and class combo. Also during the Cataclysm, the Worgen broke free from the Emerald Dream and ransacked the town of Gilneas. Since the Night Elves are mainly responsible for Worgens even existing in the first place, they help out where they could, and they invite them into the Alliance. Meanwhile, tensions between the Horde and the Alliance were ramping up. Horde offensives pushed into Darkshore and Ashenvale, but were repelled by the Elves. Although it wasn't a decisive victory. In the zone of Stonetalon Mountains, a giant goblin-engineered bomb was dropped on Thaldrala Grove, killing soldiers and innocents alike. Finally, over on Mount Hyjal, the World Tree of Nordrassil has grown back, but the Night Elves still aren't immortal, and they play a huge role in defeating Ragnaros, who has set up a base nearby. Okay, well, you know, all things considered, it's going pretty well for the Kaldurai right now, but this is just the calm before the storm. Miss Pandaria, nothing happens. Warlords of Draenor, nothing happens. Legion, a lot happens. First off, Tyrande and Malfurion travel to a zone called Val Shara. This is an ancient location where Malfurion was first born and trained to be the first ever druid to exist on Azeroth, under the tutelage of Cenarius. More recently, the satyr named Xavius has been corrupting the lands. During the questline, Malfurion is captured, and Tyrande and the player character need to rescue him. Malfurion is an incredibly lore-rich character, whose personality has been expanded upon over 21 years in books, comics, and in-game cutscenes. But for the average fan of World of Warcraft, they know him as the guy with the most hilariously pathetic voice lines where he's all like,
Tyrande, I need you. You cannot keep me from her. Where are you, Tyrande? No!
And here's the funny thing, it's actually Xavius impersonating Malfurion in these voice lines. But everyone kind of forgot about that detail, or it was just poorly translated. Also during the quest line, Ysera dies, a very close ally to the Night Elves, and oh yeah, also during Legion, the Nightborn, a Highborn adjacent faction of elves, wanted to ally with the Alliance, but Tyrande was apprehensive because they reminded her too much of the Highborn with their limitless power and addiction to magic. So they joined the Horde instead. And then, in the Battle for Azeroth expansion, in BFA, the burning of Teldrassil is easily the most controversial event in Warcraft history. It was a radical change made to the game's story and world, something that is really rare in the MMO medium, and Night Elves suffered immensely. Easily their biggest loss since the Sundering of the World, but with great loss meant that we are able to get the brutal side of the Night Elves again, something that had been missing for the entirety of WoW since then. And visually, it was awesome.
Tyrande, I need you.
Tyrande partakes in an ancient ritual to become a Night Warrior, empowering her.
Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to me? Was it? Oh my god, what a mess. There it is.
What is nature's call? I'm game.
This guy is he's asking a lot of questions about joining the guild. That's kinda good. He knows what he wants. That's fine. I'll drop guild if you want, but sure, I'll invite. Man, being a guild leader is so hard. Kind of messes up with my lore delving situation here. I think for the next I just hope okay. Benny is welcome. Yeah.
Hi! For the trees.
For trees.
Ah, the great outdoors.
Is that the rolls given to the druids of Dornadel for safekeeping? I have no idea where they hid it. I'm sorry. I help you more than that. Follow the road that leads towards the barren. There is some shelter to the east of that road. They won't be much help to you. They were killed recently. That's so cool. They kind of just give you a general direction, just going to the barrens here and then to the east. Wait, it doesn't even show on my map. Am I actually gonna have to like look for it? Whoa, that kind of sucks. No way I'm gonna do that. What levels are my guildmates? Oh, 18. Hmm. What is this one? It's gonna take forever. And then I can kill these things. It still went to the forest. In the forest, a song, right? Now I'll go later. I'm gonna figure out if I can finish these things where they are. Maybe take this quest right over here. Bro. Oh, it's already in the guild. I thought you were in the guild invite. Hi. They're gonna warn me, like, that's the thing about being a tank. Everybody wants you to just tank randomly. I want to leave my guild. Why? Oh my god. We planted a tree. Only 5 people online, and we got 6. Lols. God, it's so hard to be a guild leader. Yo, that's nice. Level 36, he already has one of these mounts. I'm gonna buy mounts. How long have we been playing? I play it. I'm wondering how long have you do it? 2 days and 3 hours playing this guy. Total time played 2 days and 13 hours. Wow, that's insane. Two days. 2 full days of time played. That's insane. It's so much stuff.
Ishnu Allah. Before you travel to the Moonwell, I have another task that will aid the people of Ashenvale if you would like to test your skills. Along the road heading east before the Falfarin River, Vorbogs have been attacking travelers, their tortured minds feeding upon fear, and their appetites satiated by the blood of innocents. Aid the sentinels in protecting the lands by showing those monsters the same mercy they have shown our kind. I believe their camps are south of the road. Be careful.
There it is. Sat here.
For the trees.
Greetings.
It's finally. It's probably gonna level me up, maybe.
Ishnu Del Diab. Farewell.
Come on. I can actually move to the new zone now. What if I should? I was gonna. I can double finish this quest. Just take the bells to this guy. I'm probably gonna take me to level 29. Whoa, 24. 4 mode. Gonna let it leave. The lore in Ashenvale is pretty interesting. I think this zone is more interesting. With some of the quests are a little bit annoying because it's hard to kill some of the moths and there's a lot of like back and forth. But some of them are really cool. Overall, the whole ambience is what's really good. Like you see the ruins like on the back there, and you see their houses like all over the place in between the trees and whatnot, and it does give you a really good idea of the life and the culture of the elves. Pretty interesting lore, but I'm looking forward to the new zones in this game. Which after level 29, it seems I'm gonna be able to just go to the new zones. I think that's gonna be the move for me. I mean, I do want to finish some of the. I'll just finish the one about Mel Henry's or whatever his name is. Oh, I actually got it. I cannot believe it. Let's just throw this before. Oh. Nice. Why is this not working? Oh, because I got a Morlock field and it seems like an item that I cannot see. Interesting. Oh my god. How am I gonna fight? Can I do it in the experience?
What can I do for you? Some dark magic enchants this soul stone. Let's see what's trapped inside, shall we? Go with me.
Oh, that was too fast. How would they expect people to read all of this? And it was actually interesting, but it's like, bro, just hold on. His power weakened. Even the last of his precious soldiers would fade and died. They will purify. Patrick's Nazarene, tell me, spirit, where might we find the other soul gems under his magic? This is the tone which might indicate the location of the remaining soul gems. This one has okay. When the shaking stopped, his true motives were revealed, were trapped, and he was slowly draining our powers. There were hundreds imprisoned by his spell. It was sort of like a soul gem in the Elder Scrolls. It was a bit too long sometimes. That was actually interesting. I'm glad I got that quest.
Need help? Ilkrud Magthrul. Yes, I have knowledge of him. He is a powerful orc warlock that makes his residence at the Fire Scar Shrine, a place of great evil in southwestern Ashenvale. He had been little more than an annoyance until now, and I had not dealt with him, but it seems that his time has come.
Clergy ring. That's 3 spirit, 1 stamina. 1 stamina, 3 stamina. I don't actually need it, but it's still like a cool quest actually.
Light pleasure.
Oh, come on, bro, you gotta get me over there. 01 to 04. Or yeah, like I literally need to kill like a few boars and that's it. Like full clearance. I'm doing full clearance in this whole thing, so literally just kill a couple of wolves here. And that's it. Probably draw the ghost bow belt. Can't believe I didn't level up. 1, 2, 4. Oh my god, like literally 200 XP. I just need 200 XP. The quest should give it to me. I get to visit that guy who's living like on the his little hut in the middle of the forest. It's absolutely amazing. That's what I need, to be honest. Just go to like a big forest like Ashenvale, build like a small little hut. This guy just chilling here in his Ashenvale hut, just living with his wife. He doesn't wear a shirt. He's living the life, to be honest. This place is beautiful. Just imagine, like, actually being in a place like this. It'd be bloody cool. I already turned in the quest for his wife. They had to kill a furball who was her friend, but then he was crazy or something. He's got his fruit and his bathtub over there. He's like chilling without a shirt here. Welcome to our home. Take shelter if you need. And he's also super chill about it. Look at this guy. He's the most hippie night owl that I've ever seen, if I've seen one. You made the forest a safer place, friend. Thank you dearly for the work you have put in. You have made it easier for us out here. But first you must do one more thing. I should have thought that was it, the final quest. I should level up here. Bang, the light.
What brings you here?
Ghost bow. All of them. Let's have the storm strand. Lock your hunt. It's right here. I mean, he's right here, and I should be able to one-shot him because like I'm level 29 now. Okay, that's gonna be the final quest. I really need a mount. Oh my god, I tried to buy one at the donation store and I couldn't get a donation going. It's an assassin. I've never seen this guy's here before. Oh, there they are. Bounce here. Stop. This war mode. Oh my god, I feel so much like just doing it just in revenge for the people who sucked me when I just got to this zone. Like anytime I met a player that is higher level, he would instantly attack. Look at this guy, he's an auto walk. He's like acting normal like when they play dead. You're right, no, I shouldn't. I'm not this kind of dude. I'm not this kind of dude. I'm an adult now. Then give the ghost bow to this shirtless night elf. Oh boy. I'm feeling kind of weird. I just started my guild here. And I realized that if I want to get people in, I need to constantly try to recruit people because people leave out of nowhere. And you often need to keep getting people in. But I feel that, and just keeping an eye on guild chat and everything is kind of nice, to be honest, because you kind of talk to people and you kind of waiting for people to kind of match on the same level and do content together. It's just definitely a different feeling to it, but at the same time I feel that it might interfere with me just going through the zones and becoming immersed. I think I gotta try to find a balance, I guess, and I gotta try to get more people who help me recruit. Ooh. I can sell this for a lot. Well, I can actually just sell it at the auction house. The Evermoon staff. Goodness, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be doing this zone. It seems to be pretty cool stuff, to be honest. Once you come over here, where I think there's a bunch of like demons and stuff, I think it might be kind of cool. This is not so much about the Furbolg or whatever. The whole Furbolg story is kind of meh. I do kind of want to do this one, Tome of Meltandris. I always like tomes. They often contain hidden cult information. I kind of want to do this one as well. What is it? Hold on. Not Tailhead. It's pretty low level. Let's see what it's all about. There is evil lurking in the northwestern coast known as the Soram Strand. It is the resting place of the doomed city of Soram, destroyed during the Sundering and submerged beneath the seas. He has been lost in idols for ages, lost and nearly forgotten. Now the Naga have returned, and for what reason we do not know, but reasons matter little. We must slay these fiends, throw them back to the depths. I think I actually need to do this quest because it might go into some of the larger mysteries of the ancient temples of the Naga and the Night Elves and whatnot. So I think I'm probably gonna be doing that quest for sure. And I want to do this quest, and then I want to do that quest. Now that I'm level 29, I think it should be a little bit easier. I'm not gonna do the 4 bulk stuff. I'm gonna actually Google them and see which one is interesting. I gotta find that that balance, because I just trying to form a guild and whatnot. It kind of put me away from focusing on the lore, but I really want to focus on the lore, because once you go a little bit deeper into the World of Warcraft's lore, you realize that there's a lot of really cool lore. So I'm gonna Google which quests are interesting here in Ashenvale. I really enjoyed Darkshore, and I think it has some interesting quests also here, especially since I wanna delve deeper into the lore of the elves as a whole, not only like in World of Warcraft, but as a whole. And then if we find some other lores about the elves, because as I said in a previous video, there's something very interesting in Nordic literature and Nordic mythology more accurately, because a lot of people think about Valhalla when they think about Nordic mythology, but actually Valhalla was one of the hosts. There was another hall called Gimli, which was a white dome in the heavens where the quote-unquote light elves resided. Now, the light elves, that would be amazing for a World of Warcraft storyline. But yeah, these were not the high elves. These were the quote-unquote light elves. That's the actual real-life mythology of the Nordic people. That's the whole idea of being night elves or dark elves, and being the high elves comes from there. There were actually dark elves and these light elves, which is basically angels and demons. And a lot of people thought that that was a correlation between Christianity and the effects on the Nordic. I'm actually, yeah, I should later. So yeah, there was actually a correlation between Christianity and some of the ancient Nordic mythologies. But when you delve deeper into it, as I've done with ancient religions, you find out that every single religion speaks about beings of light, being coming down from the heavens and coming down from somewhere and talking to people, connecting to people, even in psychedelic experiences and the mushroom trips and whatever you may want to go near their experiences. Some of the other altered states of consciousness, people say we met beings of light, they told us this and that, and then you tie everything to the UFO phenomenon as well. So this whole idea of the elves goes a little bit deeper, and I think some of the general lore of the elves is very interesting. So in World of Warcraft, I find the whole idea of the Night Elves very interesting. The whole idea that they are immortal, coming from a source of the dark void beyond the wall of eternity. That's where the magic comes from. I made a video about this, how it ties into some of the real themes as well. So yeah, I'll see which I'm not feeling very inspired to do a lot of lore when I'm thinking about managing a guild and recruiting people. So I'll see how I find this balance, but I definitely want to do a couple more quests here. I'll see if I can do this one, and maybe a little bit here to the east, because it starts tying into some of the demons and some of the demonic influence. And then I think the Emerald Dream is right over here. So yeah, I think I have to finish Ashenvale. I'm probably not gonna be doing Classic another time in my life, because this is the last time that I'm gonna be doing Classic, unless I can just spam dungeons to level up, probably, if Classic Plus comes about. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Otherwise, then afterwards, I'm gonna go into the newer zones, which is right here in Eastern Kingdoms. There's Northwind, which is gonna be like some sort of Red Ridge. I'm thinking is the Ambershire, is a whole new zone, and there's this one called Valor. It even has a 35 to 41 dungeon here. I'm really looking forward to these completely new zones in World of Warcraft with new writing from the current devs of WoW, which is like an alternate. It's not like an alternative non-canon story, you might say it is, but whoever created this project is really, really into World of Warcraft's lore, so I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, I think I'm done for today. So if anybody's watching, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Peace.